Be prepared to get offended. American fake politeness, sexual diversity, a same-sex couple, squatters and propaganda. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Mary, a native Ukrainian who worked for several years as an English interpreter at meetings between Americans and Ukrainians. Today will be raised provocative topics, so I ask you to take this information calmly. I am in no way asserting the truth. I only tell about a lot of stereotypes and culture differences that have developed as they have developed. I'll be focusing specifically on the negative opinions, since I talked about the positive ones in the previous video. First of all, I'd like to note that attitudes toward Americans depend on each individual's experiences and values. I'll be as honest as possible with you, so be prepared to get offended, but please not at me, alright? Let's go! The first stereotype is that Americans love to avoid conflicts and don't tell a person what they really think about them. Instead, they smile in their face. Some Ukrainian comedians use this stereotype about American fake politeness and how Americans always smile when they meet someone in their jokes. For example, I recently heard a joke when an American says "Have a nice day" and smiles. It sounds like it's on autopilot. In Ukraine, if someone wishes you a good day, they sincerely mean it. Well, or they want to borrow money from you. Most Ukrainians are straightforward and immediately say to your face what they really think about you. Therefore, how Americans try to avoid conflict is perceived negatively. Many Ukrainians see this as hypocrisy. Also, many Ukrainians don't like the movement towards sexual diversity. This mainly concerns people over 40. They consider LGBT community to be something wrong, and some even perceive it as a disease and think that such people need to be treated. This stereotype was imposed on people back in the USSR. At that time, America was considered an enemy, and people perceived everything new with caution because they were not used to changes. They were told that the culture of sexual diversity came from America to our society. So people were turned against the USA. And some of those who lived through those times still believe this. Especially negatively, I would even say aggressively, men over 40 relate to sexual diversity. Some, if they see two guys holding hands on the street, might even beat them for hints of being gay, whereas lesbians are treated less aggressively. And if, for example, two girls kiss, it might be considered sexual and perceived more calmly. Some Ukrainians with particularly conservative views, when they see something related to LGBT in an American movie, spit and turn off the TV. They believe that showing a same-sex couple on screen is propaganda, and they think that it's like a virus. If you watch a movie with mentions of LGBT or sexual diversity, you'll also get infected and change your orientation. But the younger generation of Ukrainians tends to be more neutral on this topic. The next thing I want to talk about is squatting. Most Ukrainians view such a phenomenon negatively and consider it simply unacceptable. Honestly, even my brain explodes when I hear about such situations. If a Ukrainian returns, for example, from vacation and finds that someone has already moved into their home, the squatter would be severely beaten and thrown out onto the street. And no police would help them. And if squatter goes to the police and say, "I broke into and lived in someone else's house while they were on vacation and I was beaten," the police might beat you too, because we don't tolerate such things at all. and it doesn't matter male or female, the conversation will be brutal and short with such a person. And we really don't understand how in so developed country like the States people can tolerate this. Next stereotype. Ukrainians often poorly perceive the spread of open relationships. This is when a couple is in a relationship but has partners on the side. At the same time, it's not considered cheating. People over 40 believe that this undermines moral values and negatively influences the youth. Many also believe that this came to us from America. But our society is not as tolerant. And if everyone in a couple has partners besides each other, such a couple might be condemned and ridiculed in a negative way, even if it's perfectly normal for the couple themselves. For a large part of Ukrainians, this is unfamiliar, and many stand for traditional family values. Therefore, phenomena like open relationships can be shocking. But this mostly concerns older people. Some young people in Ukraine, on the contrary, would like to have open relationships and view this positively. I still don't think I know enough about America, which was one of the reasons why I started this channel.